Section 1. The unspoken tax of being yourself. What is code switching at work? It is a change. It is when people alter how they speak. It is when they shift how they move. It is when they adjust how they look. They do this to fit into a space that was not built for them. They do this to survive. They do this to avoid the quiet judgment that can stall a career. For many Black professionals, this is not a free choice made in a place of safety. It is a calculated response. It is a strategy to protect a paycheck. It is a way to secure a positive review. It is a tool used to grasp a chance for promotion. In a world that often demands conformity as payment for entry, it is a tax. This workplace code switching is far more than changing from one language to another. It is a total performance. It can mean softening one's voice to sound less assertive. It can mean policing one's tone to avoid sounding angry. It can mean smiling constantly to appear more approachable and less intimidating. It can mean carefully scrubbing one's vocabulary of slang or vernacular. It can mean changing natural hair or traditional clothing to align with corporate aesthetics. It can mean suppressing natural reactions, whether of joy, frustration, or humor. All of these adjustments are made to mirror a dominant, unwritten set of rules. These rules are often bundled together under the neutral-sounding banner of professionalism, But what is this professionalism? It is not a universal standard of excellence. It is a cultural construct. In most American corporations, professionalism is a set of norms and behaviors that reflect whiteness. It is a default setting. It is the accepted way of being. When Black professionals code switch, they are not simply choosing a different communication style. They are responding to an institutional expectation. They are adapting to a system that equates white cultural norms with competence. They are adapting to a system that equates white cultural norms with leadership. They are adapting to a system that equates white cultural norms with belonging. This adaptation is a form of labor. It is unseen. It is uncompensated. And it is demanded daily. It is an unspoken tax on being Black in a professional space. This essay argues that code switching persists because it is an adaptive response to these institutional norms. These norms are deeply embedded. They are not accidental. They are the legacy of a history that centered whiteness as the standard. To understand code switching is to understand this structure. It is not an individual failing or a personal choice. It is a systemic issue. The burden of change, therefore, should not rest on the shoulders of the individual who must adapt to survive. The burden of change must fall upon the organizations that create the conditions where such adaptation is necessary for survival and success. The workplace must change, not the person. Section 2. The many faces of code switching. The behaviors that fall under the umbrella of code switching are varied and deeply personal. They are a collection of small, constant adjustments that add up to a significant effort. Think of it like a sound engineer at a mixing board, constantly tweaking dials. The code switcher is always monitoring their own output. One of the most common adjustments is linguistic. This is about speech. It involves changing dialect intonation, grammar. A person might consciously avoid using African American vernacular English, a rich and historically significant dialect, for fear it will be perceived as uneducated or unprofessional. They might adopt a more standard American accent, carefully enunciating each word to avoid being misunderstood or dismissed before their ideas are even heard. Beyond language, there are physical and behavioral shifts. This is about how one presents their body and their personality. A Black man might consciously make himself smaller in a room. He might avoid expressive hand gestures to not appear too much or aggressive. A Black woman might constantly monitor her facial expressions, forcing a pleasant smile to counteract the stereotype of the angry Black woman. This includes moderating one's volume, speaking more softly, and laughing more quietly. It is a form of self-policing that extends to every interaction, from a casual chat in the hallway to a high-stakes presentation in the boardroom. Every movement is curated. Every expression is managed. It is an exhausting performance. Appearance is another critical dimension of code switching. Hair, in particular, has long been a site of struggle and conformity for Black people. A Black woman might feel pressure to straighten her natural hair. She might avoid braids, locks, afros, in favor of styles deemed more tame or corporate. This is not just a style choice. It is a response to a long history of workplace policies and cultural biases that have policed black hair. Clothing choices are also part of this. A person might avoid brighter colors or certain styles that connect to their culture, opting instead for a muted palette grays, blues, blacks, that blend in with the established corporate uniform. These are not small things. They are acts of hiding one's identity. Finally, there is emotional and cultural suppression. This means holding back parts of your personality. It means not sharing a joke that relies on a specific cultural reference. It means not expressing frustration with the same candor that a white colleague might. It means carefully filtering personal stories to make them more relatable to a white audience. Section 3. A heavy burden. The numbers tell the story. The feeling of needing to code switch is not just an anecdote, it is a measurable reality. Survey data paints a stark and undeniable picture of this experience. Recent research shows a significant gap between the experiences of black employees and their white counterparts. A survey conducted by the Harris Poll for Indeed revealed 34% of black employees report that they code switch at work. This is a substantial number. It means 1 in 3 black workers feels the need to alter their identity to navigate their professional life. For white employees, that number is only 12%. The disparity is clear. The pressure to conform is not distributed equally. It falls disproportionately on black professionals. The data goes deeper than just who code switches. It reveals a belief that this behavior is necessary for career survival. In that same Harris Poll study, a staggering 44% of black employees stated that code switching is necessary to succeed at work. Compare this to the 22% of white employees who felt the same. This gap shows a fundamental difference in how the workplace is experienced. For many black professionals, authenticity is seen as a risk. They believe that if they were to bring their full, unfiltered selves to work, their careers would suffer. The system, as they experience it, rewards conformity and punishes difference. The fear of professional penalty is not abstract, it is concrete. The survey found that about 40% of black professionals believe that if they stopped code switching, they could face tangible consequences. These consequences include receiving worse performance reviews. They include being passed over for promotions. They include being excluded from important projects or networks. This is not a matter of feeling uncomfortable. It is a matter of economic and professional security. The choice is not between being authentic and being comfortable. The perceived choice is between being authentic and being successful. This is a choice no employee should have to make. Other studies confirm this pattern. Research from the Pew Research Center found that nearly half of black adults with a college degree feel they have to be extra conscious of how they express themselves when they are around people of other races. The Women in the Workplace report from Lean In and McKinsey & Company shows that black women are more than twice as likely as women overall to feel they cannot bring their whole selves to work. Black women also report more pressure to code switch. These numbers are not just statistics. They are stories. They represent millions of people who go to work every day feeling that a core part of their identity is a liability. This is a structural pattern, not a collection of isolated incidents. Section 4. The why behind the mask. Professionalism, stereotypes. Access. Why do so many black professionals feel this intense pressure to code switch? The reasons are rooted in the very structure of the modern workplace. The first and most powerful driver is the concept of professionalism itself. In most corporate environments, the standards for what is considered professional are not written down in a clear, objective manual. Instead, they are vague, unwritten rules. They are ideas like executive presence, cultural fit. They are often proxies for similarity. They mean look like, sound like, act like the people who are already in power. Historically and presently, in most American corporations, that means norms shaped by and for white, middle to upper class workers. This creates a powerful incentive to conform. A second major driver is stereotype management. Society is saturated with harmful stereotypes about black people. These stereotypes can be about competence, intelligence, anger, or aggression. Black workers are acutely aware that they may be judged not as individuals, but as representatives of these stereotypes. A black man might speak more softly to avoid being labeled as intimidating. A black woman might avoid expressing passionate disagreement to dodge the angry black woman trope. Code switching becomes a defensive strategy. The act of code switching is not free. It comes with a significant and often invisible price. This price is paid in mental energy. Imagine your brain is like a computer with a certain amount of processing power when you are focused on a task, writing a report, analyzing data. Now imagine a background program running, constantly monitoring your speech, your tone, your body language. It asks, did I sound too aggressive? Was that joke appropriate? Am I smiling enough? Researchers call this a cognitive tax. Cognitive load. It consumes valuable mental resources. That has real-world consequences on job performance. Energy spent self-policing cannot go to problem-solving, creativity, innovation. Complex tasks feel harder. Fatigue can set in by lunchtime or by the end of the day. Someone managing an identity performance can't bring their full intellectual capacity. It's not about skill or effort. It's divided attention. The company loses out on full potential. The employee is drained, doing two jobs, their official role and the unofficial role of cultural chameleon. Beyond cognitive tax, there's a heavy toll on mental health. Maintaining a separate work self and home self can be immense. The Harris Poll. 23% of black professionals said code switching negatively impacted their mental health. Other studies link it to increased stress, anxiety, feelings of alienation. Feeling your authentic self isn't welcome or safe at work has a profound psychological cost. It can cause disconnect, identity fragmentation. Over time, that chronic stress contributes to burnout, making engagement and motivation difficult. There's also a social cost that ripples outward. Within one's cultural community, it can be viewed with suspicion, seen as acting white or rejecting one's culture. That causes social friction and the pain of being caught between two worlds. At work, constant self-editing blocks genuine relationships. If you're always performing, it's hard to let your guard down and build trust. Cognitive drain, mental health strain, social friction. Code switching becomes harmful and unsustainable for many. It implies that certain ways of speaking, certain hairstyles, certain forms of expression are liabilities in the world of work. This reinforces a harmful hierarchy where white-centered norms are positioned as superior, professional, and correct, while black cultural expressions are deemed inferior, casual, and inappropriate for serious settings. This is the logic of assimilation. This pressure creates a phenomenon known as respectability politics. Parents, wanting the best for their children, might teach them to speak properly and to avoid using their natural vernacular to get ahead in a world that they know is biased. Schools might penalize students for using AAVE, framing it as a mistake rather than a legitimate and rule-governed dialect. Over time, this can lead to the internalization of the idea that parts of one's own culture are something to be ashamed of or hidden. It can disrupt the transmission of language and culture from one generation to the next. There is a profound and painful cultural contradiction at the heart of this issue. On one hand, black culture is a dominant force in global popular culture. Black music, black fashion, black art, black language drive trends and generate billions of dollars. Corporations eagerly use black culture in their marketing to appear cool, relevant, and edgy. They hire black artists and influencers to sell their products. The creativity and dynamism of black expression are consumed and celebrated on a massive scale. This consumption makes it seem as though black culture is valued. It creates an illusion of acceptance and progress. Yet, in the very same corporate world, the people who create and live that culture are often told it is unprofessional. The same slang that a company uses in a tweet might get a black employee a warning from their manager. The same hairstyle worn by a model in an advertisement might be deemed a violation of the dress code for a black employee in the accounting department. This is a stark cultural dissonance. It sends a hypocritical message. Your culture is valuable as a commodity we can sell, but the expression of that culture by you, in our professional space, is a risk. It is a way of extracting value from Black culture while devaluing Black people. It is important to acknowledge the nuance in the act of code switching. In some contexts, it can be a demonstration of high social and linguistic skill. The ability to read a room and adjust one's communication style to connect with a specific audience is a form of intelligence. It is audience awareness. For some, mastering this skill can feel empowering. It can be a tool used with agency, a conscious choice to navigate different social worlds effectively. It is like being multilingual. You choose the language that best fits the situation to achieve a goal. In this light, code switching can be a source of pride. It can also be a testament to one's adaptability and social dexterity. It can open doors. It can build bridges. This perspective, while valid, must be held in careful tension with the reality of why code switching is so prevalent. The key question is not whether it can be a skill, but whether it is a choice. When an act is required to avoid harm or to secure basic fairness, it ceases to be a simple exercise of agency. It becomes a condition of survival. It becomes coercive. The data shows nearly half of Black professionals believe code switching is necessary for success. Many also fear professional penalties if they stop. That points directly to this coercion. The problem is not the skill itself, but the environment that demands its constant use as a defensive measure. Think of it like this: a person who learns to swim for fun is exercising a skill. A person forced to learn because they are thrown into deep water is trying to survive. Both may become skilled swimmers, but the context of their learning is fundamentally different. For many Black professionals, code switching is the latter. It is not a fun trick they choose to perform. It is a life raft in a sea of bias. Becoming adept is a testament to resilience, but it doesn't change that they had no other choice but to learn. The pressure is external and systemic. Celebrating the skill without acknowledging the coercive environment is a dangerous oversimplification. It risks focusing on individual adaptability rather than the flawed system they are forced to adapt to. It can let organizations off the hook. A company might say, "Our Black employees are so skilled at navigating different environments," while ignoring that their own corporate culture is the hostile environment being navigated. True agency exists only when there is a real choice, the freedom to code switch, the freedom not to. Until both are real, we must see it primarily as a burden. So, what should employers do? The solution is not to tell individuals to stop code switching. Change the environment so they no longer have to. This requires concrete, structural changes, not just diversity statements or one-off workshops. These are practical, proven steps to begin dismantling systems that demand conformity. First, redefine professionalism. Move away from vague, subjective, biased standards like executive presence or good fit. Judge performance and potential on clear, job-related criteria: the quality of work, the achievement of goals, reliability, the ability to collaborate effectively. Vague standards breed bias. Clear standards are tools for fairness. Second, pair representation with genuine inclusion. Hiring underrepresented people is necessary, not sufficient. If new hires must conform to the old culture, that's tokenism, not inclusion. Inclusion means changing culture so people feel safe and valued. Make sure diverse voices are not just present, but are heard and respected and given weight in decision-making. Representation without inclusion is hollow. Power and accountability must be part of the equation. Third, rigorously measure fairness. What gets measured gets managed. Track promotions. Track compensation. Track access to high-visibility assignments. Who is sponsored by senior leaders? Who is on the fast track for promotion? Who consistently gets the best projects? If data shows disparities, investigate root causes and fix policies. Publish this data internally to create transparency and hold leaders accountable. Make fairness a key performance indicator. Fourth, manager training must be specific. General unconscious bias training has limited effect. Train managers on linguistic bias, tone policing, and cultural norms that lead to unfair judgments. Teach managers to spot evaluations based on communication style versus substance. Provide tools to run more inclusive meetings, give fairer feedback, and challenge their own assumptions. Structure performance reviews to limit bias with role-relevant questions, not open-ended prompts about potential or fit. These structural changes create lasting impact. To conclude, code switching in the American workplace is often discussed as if it were an individual choice, a personal strategy for getting ahead. The data and lived experiences of countless Black professionals tell a different story. They show that code switching is most often an adaptive response to a corporate culture built on a foundation of whiteness. It's a system where professionalism reads as conformity and deviation is treated as a career risk. It's not free will, it's necessity. It takes a heavy mental toll, an emotional toll, a cultural toll. Change won't come from wishing it away or from empty diversity statements. Change requires deliberate dismantling of structures that make code switching necessary. It starts when leaders stop asking, "Why don't our Black employees feel like they belong?" and start asking, "What have we built that prevents them from belonging?" The burden must shift from the individual to the workplace. Responsibility lies with institutions, not the person navigating them. The path forward is clear. Employers must act. Redefine professionalism around objective, role-related skills. Pair representation with real inclusion and power. Measure fairness in promotions and opportunities with the same rigor as financial results. Train managers to recognize and interrupt bias. Address bias in communication styles. Address bias in cultural expression. Build evaluation systems designed to promote equity. Support the mental health of employees who carry this hidden labor. Code switching can remain a skilled tool, chosen with agency, but it must never be a shield people are forced to carry just to feel safe or to be seen as competent. Workplaces must stop demanding people hide their culture to earn respect. Instead, build respect for cultural difference into the job. The goal: a workplace where everyone brings their full self not as a feel-good idea, but because their full self is genuinely valued. Bottom line, code switching is best understood as a workplace adaptation to unequal risk. The data shows it is disproportionately shouldered by Black employees, frequently seen as necessary, and measurably linked to mental health harm for a substantial minority. Culturally, it reinforces a hierarchy where Black expression is often treated as too much at work, creating identity strain, intra-community authenticity conflict, and long-term pressure on language and self-presentation norms.